So what I'm going to demonstrate today is how to go ahead and do move, scale, and rotate in a video. So really what we're learning is how to do videos. You can go ahead and see right here's 3ds Max. And in your 3 videos for this unit, we're going to do a video of figure 12.6, 15.5, and 15.6. In each of those you need to use move, scale, or rotate. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and import one. It'll take too long to import. You guys have the idea. You can bring those objects in. I'm going to use just basic objects here. So let's say I've got a box here. And then let's say that I've got a tube. And I'm going to go ahead and put a sphere in here. So what I want you to go ahead and see here is we're going to make a video. In order to make a video, we have to use this time down here. Notice that it starts out at 100 frames. There are 30 frames to a second, so that means that if we made this video within the 100 frames, that'd be 3 1/3 seconds. That's the minimum that I will accept for this assignment. If you want to make that longer, right here is time configuration, and you could go in here and change the length to something different there. So I'm going to change that to 120. How many seconds would that be? 4 seconds. There we go. I hit OK. So now that's stretched it out down here. Now to show you move, scale, and rotate, what we have to do is we're going to have to turn on our keys. We can either use auto keys or set keys. I usually use auto keys. That way it should automatically detect what I'm doing. So let's say I'm going to deal with this first. I'm going to start out by setting a key where it's at now. You can see it set a key here. And let's say that in 10 frames, I want it to rotate. And let's see, 10 frames is 1/3 of a second. So I want it to go ahead and do 1 full revolution in 1/3 of a second. Now I can go ahead and get it close, or I can tweak it down here. So I could set that back to 0. And I could go ahead and set another key. Usually it will detect its own keys. However, I like to set keys just to be certain. So now if I drag this back, you can see that in that 10 frame period, it's going to have that rotate force. It will detect the frames in between. Now I'm going to go ahead and go from frame 10. I'm going to go to this object here. And I'm going to start out by setting a key. If we don't set a key, it assumes we start at frame 0, having it go to where it is. So if between frame 10 and 20, I want to go ahead and scale this object larger. And I'm going to set a key. And then by frame 30, I want to scale smaller. And I'm going to set a key. You will notice that my frame 0 key on this doesn't show up when I have this selected. It depends on what you have selected, what keys will show up. So I'm going to come to the ball now, and I'm going to go ahead and set a key. And then I have used rotate and scale. I still have to use move in my video. So by frame, well, let's go to frame 35. I want that ball to go ahead and move up and over. And I'm going to go ahead and set my key. And by 40, I want it to go ahead and be over here. And I want it to land on top of my box. And I set another key. Now at 45, I want it to come up and over. And I'm going to set my key. And then at 50, I want it to be right here. And I'm going to go ahead and set that key. Now you can see that the tube's a little small, so I'm going to change the size of that tube. I'm going to go ahead and go back to frame 45. I'm going to set a key there. And then I'm going to advance to frame 50. And I'm going to go ahead and use scale to make the tube larger. And I'm also going to go ahead and move it down so that it doesn't look like the ball is going into an existing tube. And I'm going to set the key. So we can see our video so far. Do, 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 do. And it bounces and then it goes into the top of it. I'm going to stop at that point so you've got the idea of how to make a video. We could also have hit play down here. And I'm going to stop this recording, and then the next session will show you how to go ahead and record that video out to a rendering.